Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's
Okay.
talk about you and me. You ain't gonna finish it. Let's talk about all the good things,
Yeah, I
bad
know that
things
part.
that made me. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about it. Okay,
Hey,
hey.
how you doing?
I'm good.
You
How are
looking
you?
sexy tonight.
Thank hey. We were talking about my favorite subject. Okay, I
That's
had to
what's
get
up.
sexy for the subject matter.
Of
Okay.
course, of course. Now you always sexy though, not
No,
just tonight.
you look good too over
I
there.
appreciate that.
Very dope about the situation.
Hey, y'all doing? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So you already know tonight the episode is entitled "Let's Talk About Sex."
Mm-hmm.
We gonna delve into just real combos that we didn't have growing up. Talk about sex education,
Yeah,
talk about T for T love and intimacy and safety.
yeah,
And just get into things that the people want to hear about.
yeah. And so, with introductions, I'm your girl, Miss Mouthy, and this is your boy.
Mr. Mouthy,
And together we are the
the Mouthies.
Mouthies.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
coming
yeah.
straight to you from Detroit, Michigan. So let's
Yeah.
get it.
And make sure y'all share, like, what I'm saying, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook.
All right, let's get it popping with an
Let's get it
icebreaker.
already. All
Huh?
right. So hey, let's do it. Yeah, you
Okay.
said let's go.
All right. So this one is entitled If My Body Could Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes I feel like the nonverbals is often saying something. So, babe, if my body could talk,
Your body or my body?
okay. Well, let's go with
Either
your
or.
body.
If my
Yeah.
body could
Let's
talk.
do it both ends.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, if my body could talk, what do you feel like my body would say to
Mm.
you?
It would say thank you.
Okay. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
And
your
then my body would
yeah.
say, play with me more.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like if my body could talk, well, if your body could talk, it would say, "Where you been, Cletus?"
Mm.
um,
Where you been?
where you been,
Mm.
twin? No. But I think it also would say, um, "I feel valid."
Okay, I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Mm.
All right. So let's get into it with a Carisha please card
All
too.
right, you want me to go first? Yeah, let me go
Yes.
first. Boom. All right. It says, "Ooh,
Mm.
take a shot if the ninja you was fucking with was fucking another ninja."
Oh,
How
oh.
you ever had that?
Yeah, all the time. You
What?
see what
Take
type
a shot
of
at the
yeah, they be on
Nah,
some
I mean,
mm.
I was the one that was breaking up homes back in the day. You know.
Cause one of my I don't even one of my situations in the past, like this Hussy Santana. So
Okay.
it was just like, interesting. And the variation, it wasn't no type. So it
Mm.
made me always side eye him. Yeah. All
All right,
right,
you
let
go
me
ahead.
go. Take a shot if you put someone else's credit card on your Uber account without them knowing. Of
Nah,
course
see,
not.
no, we don't do that.
Of course
No,
not going to jail for no one.
no, we're not doing
Okay.
that. Let me pick one. All right. Okay, it says take a shot if you are the crazy ex. Nope, I got plenty of them though.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And my last card, let's see. Take a shot if you steal a sneaky link with your no, with your baby mama or your baby daddy.
Okay, Julissa said we all need to take a shot. Amen. Man, we
Amen.
live in the fluid, freaky realm. Talk about it.
Hey
Where that bell
girl.
at? Ding, ding, ding. Let me
Okay.
get it.
Yeah, get it,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah. Let me
Hey girl, what's up? Oh, shout
get it.
out to her too. I don't know if it's still going on, but if you need any last minute name changes or parking tickets, that is the girl you need to holler at. So go talk to Jaleesa about that before the month is over.
Absolutely, absolutely. You want to pick
All
another?
right. No, you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So let's talk about what it meant for understanding our second puberty with our bodies when it come from transitioning and being in a T for T relationship.
Yeah. Second puberty. Wow. Yeah, it definitely was. You know, some of you may know or may not know. Um, once you transition from female to male, your voice deepens. You get clitoris grows.
Hmm.
Um, what else? Facial hair, of course. All
Yes,
those
of
things,
course.
but they don't really tell you about that your libido increases so much. And so
Hmm.
I'm talking about everything that I looked at. It could have been a rainbow. I was thinking about sex. You know what I'm saying? Every facet. So please, when you get on T of you know what I'm saying, please make sure that you are take control of that and doing things in a safe way because yeah, it could
Yeah,
get hectic.
yeah, no, for real.
But yeah, go ahead, baby.
And so for me, mine went on the opposite. So I went from having a very high sex drive to um not having that interest in sex at all. And it was more so the connection aspect of it. I did find myself emotionally um just crying over everything.
Mm.
Then you get breast tissue.
Oh, real. My
Yeah,
baby,
no, for
real.
real. And
Love it.
organic. And so you get breast tissue. Um, I know one of the things that I feel like necessarily helped that the doctor kept saying, be mindful, ladies, of your smoking intake. And so, like, if you in the beginning stages of your process, just reduce it some so that way you can get a really good mass of breast tissue in the beginning of your stages. Um, One of the things too was I just felt like I needed space to be able to like get my body together and like the ejaculations go down.
Mm.
Yoshimi is not working the way it used to. You don't produce cum at the same level. Um and for me personally, I don't know about every girl,
Yeah, yeah.
but right in that area, something tender happens. It get really tender right there. So you have to be very delicate about all the things when it come to that. Like take your time, make sure you using lube quite often, even if it's in self play.
Hmm.
Uh,
And,
cause
and also be uh comfortable talking to your partner about those things
yeah,
as well.
yeah, cause it was hard going from really cisgender men telling me for duration, like I don't want to see it, I don't want to touch it, and then you find yourself having to learn how to embrace your body and engage it in that way, cause you're a whole entity,
Hmm.
you're a whole person, and you got all parts. And I would encourage everyone, no matter what part of the spectrum you on in your transition,
Hmm.
to incorporate all your body in sex so you can know what pleasure feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Getting to know yourself.
Amen.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about that? Did it take a long time for you to um get comfortable with showing people your body and your growth and your development? For me, like people saw my breast
Mm.
tissue grow
Well,
ahead of time.
well, I mean, I was happy. You know what I'm saying? I was taking pictures of it. Woo, woo, looking to grow 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the story about this one young lady. She had never met a trans person, and I was telling her about it. It was actually during my grandma's funeral, not during the funeral, but like because I was there because of the funeral.
Okay, okay.
So it was a friend of my cousin. But anyways, um, she challenged me. She was like, "Let me see,"
Mhm.
and I was like, "Bet, I'll show it to you." And of course, I wasn't proud of in that. In that moment, I was like, "Yeah, look at it." But when I look at it now, it's like you have to be mature in the mind
Yeah, yeah.
because again, people you can't just go around getting your needs met, hunching on people, touching people inappropriately, sexually harassing people because your libido is high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to be consensual and respect others, but also respect yourself. So once I started respecting myself in that way, I was able to get my libido under control.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize how often, even in that stage of us connecting with our bodies, the fetishization around people being obsessed with our bodies and putting it into this like category, right? And
Hmm.
then their minds is still in disbelief or still don't understand how to
Right.
process our anatomy. And then when you add on other people who um have may have both parts, right?
Hmm.
Um, that's a whole nother thing that they can't conceptualize. And so it's really allowing people to adjust
Right.
to this is all of me, this is a part of me. And if you only gonna experience that if I give you permission to. So
Absolutely. And for me, I never. This is my first T for T relationship.
ow, ow, and last.
Right, and last,
Okay.
amen. But um, the thing about it is, I didn't fall in love with you for your
Mhm.
anatomy. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I fell in love with you for what was inside your energy, your feminine energy.
Oh, let me focus, okay?
Uh,
Because I was trying to be all yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So when it came to sex, you know, whatever had to be done or adjusted, we were able to talk about it fully,
Yeah.
and it was never an issue. You know, I'm a top and the bottom. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? You know what I'm
So
saying? We just gonna
we gonna
the
very be
goal is
mutual.
orgasm,
Yes,
and we get plenty of those.
we're coming.
Okay.
The Goldings are coming, okay?
Yeah.
But I feel the same. I think even though you weren't my first trans man, and sometimes I think that is an experience in and of itself on both parts, even
Mhm.
with people who are in T for T relationships. It's like, oh, I want to be with my first pre-op or post-op or whatever. Um, I just knew you were someone that I wanted to develop and learn more about internally. And then knowing your past, I was like, I want to love him in a way. Sexually, it was going to be different because I wanted to love you in a very healing way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you definitely did.
Yeah. So did you. So did
Yeah,
you.
especially that first time. Whoo, cause I'm not, no, I'm just saying.
No, yeah.
I'm gonna be real.
Be real.
Uh, I've dated men in the past. You know what I'm saying? From the time I was 16 to 20, and so I wasn't shy from
Mm-hmm.
having that type of sexual encounter. However, it had been such a long time because when I was from 20 to when we met, when we first about 30, 38, 39, I was 39, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
Mm-hmm.
turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to
Clap
me
it up.
still, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, um, it was like the first time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was thinking like, well, it already happened one time. There's no way I'm going to experience the same type. But the funny thing is, the first time I didn't really experience any pain or you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, bleeding or anything like that. But the second time I did so, even as a grown person,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Who do I talk to? What do I do?
Right.
You know, and being able to talk to you and open up to you about that and you receive it so well and you just affirm me and all of those things. Yeah, it made my experience that much greater because some trans men don't get that experience.
Yeah, and that was something I was about to say. No matter who you are or where, um, or what you are attracted to, sex comes with a heavy responsibility. And I wish I had known that. I wish I was able to talk to my younger self about the responsibility,
Mm,
with who I'm giving myself to,
right,
but also and vice versa. And
right.
for me to hear you and know that this was your first experience with a woman like myself, I felt like it was my responsibility to make sure it didn't become traumatizing or
Hmm.
it was something that um invoked dysphoria in you, because when you're making love to your partner, you want you exchanging energy. You're exchanging a part of your soul. And I get some people downplay they sex, they just hit it and quit it. But
Mm,
then why do you go back?
hmm.
Because it
It
was
was good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see what I'm
On this
saying?
Good Friday.
Yeah, okay. So the reality is I
Thank
knew
you,
I had
brother. Thank you, King.
hey,
Yes.
I knew I held the
Love you too.
responsibility. And I didn't want, because sex can be traumatizing. I didn't
Hmm.
want our sex to become traumatizing, not only for myself with the shame for most girls. I wasn't a girl who was used or felt confident in that area of using my she meat. So I was just like,
Yeah.
oh no, I might come quick or it may not be good enough.
And
It's
you
the
do
size
come
of it.
quick,
Yeah.
but I make it happen.
Okay.
I'm
Amen.
sorry. Keep going.
And
Now I'm distracted.
I was just like, are you gonna be pleased? Can you make your person orgasm?
Right. All those
Those
pressures.
pressures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it was just like, but no, focus in on the connection,
Right.
right? And build off of that, because it's a teachable moment. That's
Hmm.
what people fail to realize in sex, is that it's a teachable moment to learn how to please your person, but you need to be confident
Right.
with having that sex.
Yeah, and I think confidence comes from your younger self, right? If my parents would have talked to me more about sex and what it meant for me,
Yeah.
and them noticing certain things and not
Hmm.
saying anything because their parents didn't talk about it. Like that really
Yeah.
put, you know, my generation, I would say, in the chokehold. The ones that, the church going folks, things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Nothing
Yeah.
against them, I'm just saying like there's just certain rules and restrictions that they place on others. And, uh it ends up hurting the person in the long run.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Yeah, and just because you don't talk about sex with your kids, don't mean they're not going to go out here and have it or become curious about it or hear it around them,
Yeah.
even if they're not ready. And so I just think having that conversation will help to at least start in any level of safety, right? Like if I felt like I could talk and tell people in my family that I was attracted to boys,
Hmm.
I could then start they could then ask me like, have any boys tried to hunch on you or all the things? And then I could say, yeah. And then they'd
Right.
be like,
And be
well,
safe to say
yeah,
it.
did you say yes to that? Or they just did it, So all of
Hmm.
those things you want to be able to have and build that rapport.
Right.
Yeah. So in that process of development, I think what I appreciated
Hmm.
was that you heard the language. I think for T
What's going on,
relationships,
bro?
it's been so
Peace.
important to hear the language
Mm.
that if I name any part of my body a certain part, itsy bitsy joy in heaven,
Yeah.
okay,
Uh-huh.
you receive that. Don't call it anything other than what it
Right. It's
is.
just a pronoun
Yeah, yeah. Don't
for my private parts.
yeah.
Exactly. Respect them.
Yeah, my she meat,
Yeah.
his man cave.
Yeah.
Okay, it worked. You can
Right.
make it sound very affirming and
Hmm.
loving
Yes.
without getting derogatory and nasty. And I think even when people hear the title, it's just like when we talk about sex, there's a way to get your kinks off
Right.
and still be intact.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Absolutely. I agree.
when it comes to love and intimacy, what
Hmm.
things about love and intimacy and a T for T relationship do you enjoy that you couldn't find in your other relationships?
Um, I would say just understanding, right? There's a
Yeah.
power behind someone really that can speak to your experience,
Yeah.
Um, like today and many other days, like what happened today, right?
Yeah.
I end up well, I was supposed to I had a schedule. Well, I thought I had a schedule for for surgery, and it ended up being something else. And so I quickly text my wife and let her know what was going on, and she affirmed me so well. She started sending me different other doctors, and instead of telling me, "Oh, it's gonna be all right," or pacifying how I was feeling, she really made me not give up on myself and say, you
Yeah.
know what, they made a mistake. Maybe it's not meant for me to go through that particular doctor.
Mhm.
And in my other relationships, I wouldn't have had that because
Yeah.
they just wouldn't understand.
Yeah. Cuz it's vital. Like if this is something that you desire to be comfortable in your whole self,
Yeah.
um I get that, and that'd be the same way with me. Like you get you don't get pushy on the days that I say I can't go
Hmm.
to this place because
Right.
I don't feel 100% to get out the car.
Right.
He just respects it, let it be what it is.
Yep.
And that's the important part. Or when we can have our trans jokes. I don't know how we get this dark humor with transition.
I don't know either.
But it's beautiful because none of my other counterparts could ever relate or understand where I'm coming from in that.
Right. And I'm not afraid to love you out loud. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about none of that. Like I love you so much
Yeah.
through everything that you are.
Yeah.
And I'll never let anybody disrespect you or treat you any kind of way. We can be in the store and people just look at you or whatever, and I hold your hand even tighter. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Let them know like you were the real one.
Yeah.
And so that too is what empowerment means in T for T relationships. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
and
thing.
same, right? Like, if he's ever uncomfortable to go to a doctor's because the wording is not, I'm going to check in.
Yep.
I'm going to be the person that you come to see, and it's being able to use each other's previous or past ability to get in spaces or places accountability and advocate for one another to say, hey, actually, this is who you need to see, but y'all need to change the way y'all have this going because y'all are missing a whole demographic of people that need care too.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Um,
Oh yeah.
next we talking about sex education.
Mm.
So one of the things, I'll be transparent in my stuff last year. I'm a big advocate for prep. I love prep, doxy prep, all the things because when I was in my 20s and I was having sex, only thing we had to rely on was a condom, and
Mm.
a condom was not the most empowering tool when it came to keeping yourself safe during sex.
Mhm.
One, because you had to hope that the guy brought the condom.
Right.
You had to make sure it wasn't expired. You had to make sure he could fit it properly, because
And when you
sometimes,
in the moment, sometimes those things don't matter. You know
yeah,
what I
or he
mean?
don't even know how to put it on.
Right.
Or he ain't got enough condoms because he thinks stigma says, okay, give me oral with this condom on,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna
Take
change.
it.
I ain't
Yeah.
got another condom to do anal, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like, okay, here we are.
Yeah.
Um, but then fast forward when PrEP came out and it was this liberating thing. It was a period of my life that, like, so last year in May, I was sexually assaulted in a club, and that had triggered so much emotions in me, because I'm
Mhm.
like, how at this big age are you being sexually assaulted?
Yeah.
You think that you doing everything right and checking all the boxes, but you just never know. You just don't know how these things can come about, but you try to learn how to not let it take shame, and depending on your childhood, you try not to go back. The beauty in PrEP was that I felt like more than anything, I was protected in that moment. I knew that um, at the thick of it all, I would have to work through the mental anguish of it
Right.
versus the physical, real things that oftentimes people have to go through after something like that happened. And so it's been a game changer for me. And as a trans woman, I think it's big because we always don't know what the guys we dealing with, whether cis, trans, and different,
Mhm.
you or if you do survival sex work, you just have this level of protection to be able to make your decisions adequately with your body, even
Right.
if somebody out here doing whatever they want to do.
Right. It's a level of protection for yourself. You know what I mean? And we've talked about it, right?
Hmm.
For me, I think it's more of your experience that has led you to. 'Cause I think like some people think like, oh, you getting on prep because you want to be outside doing things, and that's not it. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? You want to
Hmm.
break that stigma. It's literally to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. I have thought about getting on. I'm not currently on it. Um, and because I just don't see myself in those situations. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? As a trans man, like as a trans, or like as a fair, right? Like it happened all the time. You know, men would come up to me, even when I was a stud, it didn't matter. Like they felt all pussy belonged to them.
Hmm.
You know, no matter how masculine I presented myself, if they saw any type of female traits or qualities, they was attacked. They was on attack mode. I don't know how many times I've been sexually assaulted, and I'm literally saying no. When I was at work, just around the way, whatever. I
Hmm.
was always susceptible to those things. Friends, family members, it didn't matter. Um, but now that I've been living as a trans man for since 2018, people don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not exempt, but they don't. And so that's an extra level of protection that I have. And two, I don't go anywhere by myself, you know what I'm saying? I make sure that I'm always on the swivel and things like that. But it still can happen. So I still have
Right.
that little bit of like percentage of me that definitely wants to get
Yeah.
on prep.
And I'm not trying to fear monger anybody. I just like to give people a
Yeah.
different way of thinking of things.
Yeah.
Ting. So, okay. With everything that's going on in the world right now, God forbid if we all, as trans people that's out living and thriving, have to be incarcerated for whatever reason. And I
Mm,
got wrongly incarcerated. So that situation in and of itself was fearful.
yeah.
I was thankful that I had prep. But then I also was like, I don't know if the jail was gonna give me another shot when it's
Right, right.
when it's my time to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but I was thinking in that instance that level of protection, right? Because
Hmm.
regardless to I'm thankful for that guard to not let that young man out there because he was adamant. But what so happened had it been, right? When the system's and stacked up against you,
Hmm.
you want to have as much
Protection
protection
as you
as you
can. You're
have,
right.
regardless to the social aspect of it.
Yeah, I
Because
get
that
you.
I
Yeah.
get that.
Mm.
But also at the same time, being an out and proud trans person, regardless to who you are, the moment you say that, you sometimes sign an unwanted um certificate of unwanted violence or
Mm,
essay. And I just want people to and run it up
yeah,
before they cut it off.
that's
Run
right.
it
Run it
up.
up. Exactly.
Okay.
And I would just say, I mean, you said that, I was thinking about like prep is like life insurance,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You know what I mean? Like we get car insurance and life insurance, health insurance. So
yeah.
that's a part of that.
Because
Protecting yourself.
especially if he's trying to cut the HIV
Mm,
dollars that's going to save so many people lives, and we have so many ways of being preventative right now.
yeah.
And I was the biggest, well, I ain't gonna say the biggest, but I didn't believe medicine and science could get to a point where it could be like that.
Right.
And so to be on it, I think it's been years now. I don't been on prep, but to like didn't interfere with my hormones. Every time I be kind of skeptical looking at the paper like, come on, doc. I know you're gonna say something with a surprise. Okay. But that medicine is foolproof, y'all. I can't hold you.
Yeah.
I can't make it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then Doxy Prep was coming in when I had
Mm,
multiple partners, and
right.
it just be a good night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, not just prep for those who trans men who bought them, you know what I mean, and still have their working parts. Uh the day after pill, you know what I'm saying? It's important. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? If you
no,
don't
for
want to
real.
be a seahorse dad or you don't want to carry your own child, make sure you get on it. I got them available. So if y'all need them, hit me up. Through BU. Appreciate BU for
Yes, yes.
looking out. And Sincere Porter over there at Trans Feminine Health in Atlanta for providing us with those Plan Bs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you need some, holler at me.
Yeah. And so let's get into one of the things we talked about earlier, babe, that you brought to my attention when we was talking. Um about the myths, right? And
Mm,
one of the biggest things, so say you just out with prep.
yeah.
Condoms are still effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that talk a little bit about the trick daddy situation, baby.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Okay. So I was watching YouTube. Funny Marco. I don't know if y'all know him. He's a comedian that has turned. Um, he does interviews with famous people. So Trick Daddy was one of his guests, and Trick Daddy from Miami. I'm from Miami, so I was hearing a lot of the same ideologies. Like Trick Daddy, 51 years old, and he's still talking about being a side nigga. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? He's prideful of that, and he also states that he does not use condoms. And I know if he is a 51-year-old is saying these things, um, other people in his generation and beyond are still have that same mentality. Um, and so it was just disheartening to hear because he was teaching his children, and his children were teaching their children, and
mm-hmm.
so it becomes generational. And how do we, as parents, protect our children if we continue teaching them the things that may not be well for them, especially in this climate? Um, and then he said something ignorant like Magic Johnson had HIV, now he don't have it. Like he still has it. He just been taking care of himself.
Yeah.
And it just shocked me because he also said that he had chlamydia and he had to get a shot up his ass, and that did not stop him from having unprotected sex. So I don't know. Some people just,
Yeah.
you know,
And then what is the condom brand that a lot of black men just keep thriving with, right?
yeah, talk about magnums. Yeah, okay, get
Okay.
into it.
We gonna have an educational moment, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so everybody really like this because they just like to go. I mean, why not
Hey,
like
you like to
go?
go? Yeah,
Okay, let's start to like.
golden. Yeah,
But everybody don't have to be a magnum. Everybody is that
it is okay.
it is playing into that trope that all black
Mm-hmm.
men got the biggest dicks,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what you
And I've heard
have,
different.
yeah,
Like I got a lot of female cousins and sisters and friends, and they be saying shrimp. So y'all need to
and
stop
regardless,
faking. Yeah, regardless, yeah,
the orgasm of it all,
right,
right?
right, right,
Because
right, right. You
baby,
gotta get to it.
baby, too much is too much. And so we have a special guest that's gonna help us debunk this myth.
All right,
We brought Bam.
bam,
Bam came in the building,
13
y'all.
inch.
Because he said he had how much dick, baby? Trick Daddy.
I don't know how much he said he
Well,
had.
he said he could fit this.
Yeah, he
And
did. That's what he said. He said
I'm
I don't
bigger.
wear condoms, but if Madden paid me.
I would do
That's
it.
the only condom I use,
I
but
hope
we
I don't
won't
get
know.
banned or nothing, but
I hope not either.
yeah,
But we gonna
we
keep this.
gonna
This is
help it. I'm gonna keep it
educational.
on the plastic.
We're
Yeah.
not you like if you was a white woman doing it, do you want to get banned?
Oh well,
Well, and
and
we
ain't nobody walking around with some so huge, right?
and we don't use that by the way.
Maybe
You know what
we
I'm saying?
don't. You see, it's still in the
That's
plastic, so
right.
don't play. But even if we did, there's no shame here.
No shame.
No shame here. I just know I couldn't sit down.
Yeah, I
Had
know.
we,
And
you know,
yeah,
it would
but to
die
each his own.
to each.
If you can, more power to you.
And y'all know, okay. So we're gonna put the rest this idea of we want to leave a little room for the air, right? This 13 inches,
13.
and we're gonna roll
Roll it
this.
down. There it is.
So if you can, okay, how many minutes was that? Less than a minute.
That was less. That was like
Okay.
5 seconds.
Okay.
And some people do it with their mouth.
Yeah. So y'all guys got to stop saying that you can't put a condom on and you can't fit it because this right here is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Dinosaur.
And
It's
everybody ain't working with that. Now.
yeah,
Come
you know
on.
what I mean? You
The average is what 6? They say
it don't
6 and a
matter.
half, 7.
You can't
Yeah.
even put the head in. Okay. Ain't gonna be nothing you doing with me on no day. Okay. But I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, be smart about what you're saying out here when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
Don't just let anything fly out your mouth. You have to be mindful that there's ways to protect yourself and protect your partner.
Absolutely.
There's ways to enjoy it, but it's also a responsibility that each one of us play every time we come down because there can be results to every decision we make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because everybody is possible.
Okay. Talk about it.
Ding, ding, ding. Amen.
Yeah. So I think we do need to leave it one spicy thing with
One spicy thing. Okay.
for the people because you know they when they hear we talking about sex, they want to know.
Well, they
The
want to
people
know.
want to know what we
Well,
doing,
let's
how we
talk
doing,
about
what we
it.
doing. We do it all though. Like I love you are my first partner. I did not ever enjoy putting my mouth on people.
Yeah.
I just adore one because hygienically I love how you take care of yourself.
Amen.
But your body is the wonderland.
They say
I don't know if y'all
penis.
know that song, but your body is a wonderland. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Mhm.
And I need to hear that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's for you to creep up and you get down on yourself and you doubt yourself. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Of
Baby.
course. And I gotta do better at bottoming with you.
I
But
appreciate that
let me
too.
tell y'all, because my girls know the ones that get it. This should take a lot of process, honey. It takes a lot of process. And babe, sometimes by the time we are
Yeah, I'll be asleep
you
or
be
doing something.
and
Or
I'm like
I'll be doing things for ITU. Shout out to my brothers
yeah.
out there watching. I
And,
see y'all.
and at the same time, you're huge. So it's funny because I made this joke that I'm like, I've been fucking 6 feet all my life.
Yeah.
And I get with him and now I'm intimidated. Now I'm shook. Now
Yeah.
it's crazy. Big pressure.
Yeah.
Not the
I
little
does
one.
this.
Not
you
the
know what I'm
little
saying?
one.
I had a lot of practice. But
Yeah,
I'm glad
see.
that I met
Talk
you.
wasn't
You the
cheap.
last one though.
Yeah, talk wasn't cheap on your end. Okay, I'm very satisfied.
I could tell.
Yeah, because how I respond to you is just like,
yeah, you're an open book.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. And you know what I mean? You just you everything.
Thank you, baby.
And you just allow me to be me. A lot of times being sexually active with other people, you tend to want to please them more than getting what you need for yourself. And you always make sure that I never fall short of pleasing myself. You know what I mean?
I let you slut me out.
And then you be calling me a slut and shit. I'm like, damn. At first I was like, what the fuck? Don't be calling me no slut. I ain't no slut.
Be my slut.
Yeah.
My slut.
But now I'm like, yeah.
Talk, daddy.
Yeah, I'll be your slut any day.
But that's healthy when you can be that with your person and not feel any judgment. But also at the same regard, we speak libations and affirmations into each other at the same time. And it's never the same. We know how to get kinky. We know how to be loving, whatever we feel like we need in that space to be able to really connect. And sometimes it's just about, I don't need nothing from you. Just lay there. Let me get my one.
Let me lay on them titties. Man, we said that, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to lay on some titties. That's all.
Yeah.
Softest place on earth.
Mm.
Mm,
All right,
amazing.
baby. So I'm sorry, y'all. We did come into the studio a little later.
We did.
So we gonna have to cut it a little short.
But
But
we could do a part two.
oh yeah,
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
down with
that.
the part two.
Let's get it.
Yeah. But I feel like that's when we need to really bring the heat.
We gonna bring it. We just
Okay.
want to give him a little teaser. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
be educated about the
Uh
sex.
huh.
And in the comments, y'all, under this, let us know what sexual topics y'all definitely want to get into,
Absolutely.
because
Ask us some questions.
I want to know about your real kinks.
Oh, well, let's get into it.
Yeah,
Ask the question. I don't shy away from nothing. I'm gonna
yeah,
tell the truth.
yeah, for sure. And I know we're gonna have some from the audience that's really gonna be engaging. Oh, we do have one from. Let's let me give you this question, and we'll end on that note,
Okay,
right?
cool.
Um,
Thank you, Cassis. I love you.
Hi, babes. Um,
Ask the question,
all
baby.
right. If your partner says no, do you masturbate alone?
Okay, so let's talk about masturbation. I've never been a masturbator, right?
Mm,
I have been having my first sexual encounter. I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? And I was topping in. So, um, and so I've always, again, like I said before, I've never had the need to masturbate. Now I have done it before because being deployed in the military, desperate times cause desperate measure, and I've exceeded in those ways. But it's just something that I don't really get into as well. And I think it's because you have to want to know your body in that way and get more in tune with yourself. So I'm definitely practicing more. I would say that.
good,
You know what I
good.
mean? And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So
And I'm the opposite. I am a obsessive masturbator. But I'm mindful now that I'm in such a enriched relationship, because I feel like I don't want to suck the experience from both of us climaxing together
hmm yeah,
away
we
with my.
climax together a lot.
Yeah,
Let me stop.
we
I'm
no,
sorry.
we
Go ahead.
it's real though. It's, if we were capping, that would be different.
Nah,
But
yeah,
and that also goes to my point. You're the first person who
that's right. You
sex has became pleasurable in that way, and we can, our body rhythms is in line and in sync.
yeah.
But yeah, now I don't masturbate until I know it's like I'm about to send you a picture, or we're not gonna see each other for a while,
Right, right,
or
right, right. It's
yeah,
intentional.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. So other than that, you guys, we're gonna have
wrap it up.
to wrap it up. Do we got something going on that we need to let the people know about? No, this
Do
month
we?
was pretty light. Maybe
I'll
next
be in
month will be.
Ohio next month.
Yeah,
Talking at a trans rally. So yeah, I'll
check
be
them
going
out.
live out there. So check me out on that. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think.
it's really light.
But just follow us and find out. How about
Yeah,
that?
that part. Well, part two will be coming out. Let's talk about sex.
Yeah.
Um, we could talk about keeping it sexy,
Mm-hmm.
in the
Okay.
bedroom with these people who's been together for some time,
Right.
even though people, anywho.
Yep. Make
Uh,
sure y'all drop them questions because we gonna make it spicy. So we need audience engagement. We need y'all. Thank y'all for showing up for us as well. I
yes,
love y'all.
we love each
Thank
and
you
every one
so
of y'all.
much for
We
supporting
gon'
us.
stay mouthy, y'all.
Stay mouthy.
At the end of the day, bye.
Bye.